I want to talk about today overcoming the guilt of lying. Now, the first thing that's probably going to go through your mind, Paul, what in the world are you talking about? Well, the other day, I was sitting and watching television. I was flipping through the dial, and a friend of mine came over, and he says, what are you looking for on television? And I told him I was trying to find something to watch. And I came across this show called American Idol. And American Idol is one of the most popular television show that's in the media today. Now, if any of you that listen to me, you all know what American Idol is all about. It's a show where people that believes they have musical talents go on the show and sing before some professional people to see if they have it good enough to make it into the big world of the music industry. And in the American Idol show, sometimes people that are not able to sing will get on the show, and basically I call them making a fool of themselves. And the directors of the show, or the people who judges these, sometimes will come off at them as being very dogmatic, and they will tell them the truth. If you can sing, you can sing. If you can't sing, you can't sing. You need to go to find yourself another job. Well, as I was watching the show, this friend of mine looked at me and he said, I think that's cruel when they tell people when they can't sing that they can't sing. And I started thinking about that statement that my friend was making. And I looked at him and I said, I tell you the reason why that bothers you. I said, you live in a culture where society almost says it's okay to tell a lie. And he looked at me funny. He says, what do you mean it's okay to tell a lie? I said, well, have you ever been into a church service and somebody got up and sung a song and you knew that what they were singing was really bad, they was off key and all this kind of stuff? And he said, yeah. And I said, they came up to members of the church and they said, what did you think about the song that I sung? And what do? We told them a lie. Well, see, now you get where I'm coming from. So we live in a culture that we've made lying to one another almost justifiable. Ain't that shocking? Justifiable to tell a lie. We live in a culture, especially in the political world. You know, you've got people that'll get up and they'll say, well, if you'll vote for me, I promise to do this and that and the other. If you go to church, you'll have a pastor saying, if you'll join my church, we promise to do this and that and the other. Well, how about a famous promises? It's when we get together and we have marriages and weddings and we make those vows and all those promises. And a lot of times in marriages or in the political world or in other stages of life, we totally do the opposite of that. Well, that's why for the next few moments I want to talk about overcoming the guilt of lying. And the first question that may be going through your mind when you're thinking about this, why do I need to overcome the guilt of lying? Because lying never helps anybody. Now think about what I just said. In some cases, we lie to protect ourselves from something that we done that was probably wrong, or we lied to not hurt the other person's feelings. But here's the scenario in all of that. If I lie to protect a person, or I lie to protect myself because of something I've done, am I really protecting them? See, and I was thinking about the show American Idol. Okay, or America's Got Talent. And you've got people that's got talent, and they'll tell them they got talent. And then you got people that don't have talent, and they will tell them up front, you don't have talent. You need to go into some other field. I remember a show years ago that used to be the funniest show. It was The Gong Show. I don't know if you remember The Gong Show. In The Gong Show, they would have 3 people that was at the front. They would watch contestants that would come out and sing or do a skit or something. If they was good, they never got gonged. But if they wasn't good, they had 3 chances to keep from being gonged. They had to be gonged by 3 different people. That was a show that really gets us back to the point of maybe we need to change the culture of not lying. Now, let me bring this down home to us now concerning overcoming the guilt of lying. Now, let me ask you a simple question. If we believe that there is a God, has God ever lied to us? And that's a good question. I want you to think about that a moment. Has God ever lied to us? All the scripture says that God is truth, God is love, God is merciful, God gives grace and all those kind of things. But the question I'm asking you, I know it don't sound like a big theological dogmatic question, but has God ever lied to us? No. God pretty much tells us the truth and gives us the truth. So why do we live in a culture that we have the tendency of lying a lot? I'll tell you why. Because it's one of those sociable, acceptable things. And when something becomes sociably acceptable, although it may be wrong, we make justifications for it. But I've noticed when I talk to people that had to lie, they still have a guilty complex about it. They still feel bad. They still feel like they've done something wrong. And I'm going to tell you something. I believe the reason why that is so true, because guilt still comes with lying. Can we ever change from the status in life to be truthful people? As we watch shows like American Idol, I watch shows like Survivor or Big Brother or some of these reality shows. Have you ever noticed how when they come on the beginning of the shows, everybody's loving one another, everybody's hugging one another, everybody's squeezing one another. Oh, I just love you to pieces. I just want you to be part of my life. But guess what? After a few weeks of these people living together, the true nature comes out. Although we live in a world that is socially acceptable to lying, sometimes the real person or the real truth comes out. I told somebody, you think you know somebody when you go to church or you meet them on a job? Wait till you go home with them. Oh yeah. Stay with them a while. It's like when you watch Big Brother, you watch Survivor. Let those people stay with others for a while. They'll start getting on each other's nerves and start hating each other, manipulating one another. So they like each other first, but now they hate one another. And I think the reason is we have a guilty conscience because we're trying to be something that we are not. This is some thoughts to think about. Can we overcome the guilt of lying? Yes, we can. It starts with changes within us. And as we begin the changes within us, then it is start affecting the changes that are around us. I tell people everywhere I go, if you'll change yourself, those that are around you will change. Thank you for listening to the Word of God.